Hey, what's up? My name is Mohan and I'm the CEO of Thinkrr.ai, and I'm here to share with you a very unique interview that we had with one of our clients who achieved 100% show up rate to all of their booked meetings. This is a phenomenal accomplishment. It means no more am I showing up to a meeting and waiting for somebody to come and be on there and then never show up. This is 100% guaranteed. So I'm going to share this with you, and it's a unique interview because it's with one of our clients who is a business user, not technical, and has achieved this within her business. It's a remarkable story. Let me introduce you to Sujata. So this is something new that we're doing. We're spotlighting success stories, like client success stories on their journey with AI and how they're improving outcomes within their business and redefining success. And I was talking to Sujata, who is going to come on to this call and be talking. We're going to do this interview style. I'm going to be kind of talking through, asking her questions, prompting her for what she's been through, what her journey's been, get her to introduce herself. Sujata, welcome.
Thank you.
And I'll ask you to kind of introduce yourself, and what you do, who you are, and you're a little bit about your background because you have a very interesting background, even how you got into the business that you're in and what you're doing. Just for those, 'cause not everybody here, knows you.
Sure, no problem. Welcome everyone. I can see there's people from everywhere, so that's great. My name is Sujata De Souza, and I am actually, born and raised in Canada. My parents immigrated there many, many years ago. And I won't tell you how many years because then you'll try to guess my age. So that's not good. We won't do that. Right? Mohan is actually my brother. He's my older brother. I personally, my journey was I started off in the financial world about 28 years ago. I worked at in the banking world in Canada. And then about 17 years ago, I embraced the journey of financial literacy. Now, why did I do that? I embraced it because I knew that just doing financial planning without the financial education was not, it didn't serve me. So it wasn't something that I truly believed in to serve others. So that was something I embarked 17 years ago. I was actually, I actually got into this business because I was in a lot of debt. I was struggling financially. I was about $86,000 in debt, and when I joined this company, I really felt that okay, wait a second, nobody can take anything from me because I got nothing to lose. But it had impacted my health severely. I was hospitalized, and I was told that I wouldn't be able to live to see the next day, and didn't like that diagnosis. So I ended up selling my property and going to India, curing myself naturally through meditative practices. And they had actually even told me I would never be able to bear children. And I was that person that wanted 10 children, guys, four sets of twins and two bonus, right? I wanted that many. That didn't happen. But I was blessed with one child, and I'm, very grateful for that. And shortly after that, I was kind of person when I'm happy, I spend money, especially money that's not mine, right? And that's how I kind of dug my hole even deeper. So within a year of my son being born, I was able to, really get to a point of frustration and not knowing where to go and what to do. And that's when I was introduced to this amazing company called World Financial Group or World System Builder that allowed me to come in, not only educate myself, fix my own situation, but then be empowered to help other people. And that's exactly what I've been doing for the last 17 years. So that's a little bit about me. And now I'm here to talk to you guys about something a little bit different, but I'll let Mohan steer the conversation. So go
Well, I
ahead.
mean, it's really interesting what you're saying, and I'll just let the pin stay on you for a moment here. But I think that if you could just, talk a little bit about how, you've been operating your business, what you kind of do, what the system is. You have a team of people, right? So you operate with lots of people on your team. And you've been working with different systems prior to like when we started talking a year and a half ago. And I want to make sure that one of the big things I want to talk about and we're going to get to in this call is one of the key outcomes that you achieved, which is 100% show rate to all the meetings that you have right now. So by the time we get to the end of this call, we want to really talk about that in depth. But let's first like just highlight out on a little bit more about how you operate. What's the operations of your business? Because I think that will help to for people to understand how your journey with AI and automation is really taking off and why it's working for you.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, I mean, just to give a little scope of our of the way my business works is, we have two aspects to our business. The first aspect is the aspect of the client relationship. Having people that we can serve and facilitate financial strategies for, helping them with their investments, with their insurance, with their retirement planning, estate planning, debt management. We help in all those areas. Now, the other area of my business is obviously also bringing people on board, onboarding people, recruiting people who would be interested in not only, help getting themselves educated, but helping educate others, get licensed in the industry, and also start to build their own profile of clients. So with those two distinctive, it's like you're wearing many hats, right? So it can be very overwhelming at some points. And what happens is you have to be very organized. So my first journey, I was introduced to it by Dali, was something called All Clients, which was a CRM program because I saw her using it and I was so, I guess I should say, so impressed, right, on how organized she was and everything of that sort. So I was like, I want to be like that. I want to get myself structured and organized. So
Yeah, yeah.
I, you heard me praise All Clients like crazy, right? And really in entirety, what it was just a CRM program that allowed me to put my clients in there, their information in there, birthday reminders, that kind of stuff. I could email from there. It was very great. I could send communication to my clients, to my team.
Yeah.
And it was good. It served its purpose. But then at some point, AI started to come out big time in the world. And I knew I needed to start making some adjustments if I wanted to, because I realized that a lot of manual labor is going to be replaced by AI. But I just didn't know how I could piece it together for myself, right? And in my business. And that was kind of where I was stuck. And that kind of stemmed the conversation, Mohan, with you, right? And that's how we kind of started talking about different
Yeah.
aspects of what we could do, and how Thinkrr could help us, right?
Well, we could even like start the context even earlier. Like it was very much in its infancy. So a lot of people have asked me how did like we start Thinker and what did we do with getting started. And I remember I was talking to you and I was telling you like there's this, I believe that voice AI is the future and that's going to help a lot of businesses. And I believe that we need to focus first on the person who is having a smaller team and running a business, but needs to feel like they're a large team and can operate like that. And when we were talking through this, I remember talking to you and you got really, really excited. And I think we was a large part of our New Year's kind of eve talking about this, and we were so excited to see what could be possible. And we did all these flow diagrams and whatnot, and that took us into like the new year in January, and we started building kind of prototypes. And you were really like part of that journey from the very beginning, if I remember correctly, right? You
Yep.
remember that? Yeah. So we launched, if we fast forward, we actually launched, I would say, the first live event for Thinker in Toronto, in your office. Right? We had over,
Yep.
I think, 60 people show up to that event. It was a real lot of positive feedback on that. You want to share a little bit about what happened there and what you saw?
Well, I think, I mean, the event that we had, that event specifically, was really impactful because it really opened our eyes to the possibility of what
Yeah.
AI can do. Because many of us, I mean, I don't know many, I shouldn't make that statement, but I know for myself, I'm not technical at all.
Yeah.
I didn't get that gene like you did, right? So I really am like basic when it comes to technology. And so when I hear things that I don't know, I just stop and I just tune out because I don't understand it. So it doesn't make any sense to me. It's like you're speaking German and I don't speak German. So, that's kind of what it is. So when you did that seminar and you showed examples, you showed us how it could potentially work. It looked great and everybody was excited, right? And But then, of course, things after that were a little bit different, right?
Let's before we get into like the afterwards part, let's talk about a couple of the
Yeah.
use cases that we were focused on because I think they're really important. Like for what resonated, for me at least, was the need to have follow-ups. That was like the biggest use case, right? So people come to a lot of events and there's a lot of interaction with potential clients, but they fall through the cracks because people don't get back to them fast enough, right? So there was like no
Yes.
automation. So we talked about like how you can automate calls, and then through automating calls from these events, you can actually, it's basically like a scheduler, somebody who would normally call from your office and say, "Hey," and I think you were personally doing a lot of that follow up, right? That was like how,
Yep.
and then you try to get them, you'd offer them a complimentary kind of session where they would be able to learn more and carry on from the education that you provide in these webinars, kind of as a lead magnet, and then you would have them there. So we kind of talked through that use case and how you can automate that within both the CRM world, but specifically to be able to do an outbound call and
Yep.
then book them automatically and have them show up in your calendar. So what was your experience with that? Maybe you could talk because like out of that event, that's kind of like one of the things that you started to do and how that went.
Correct.
And I remember
Yeah.
like some of the results we saw in September were pretty phenomenal.
So yeah, absolutely. I mean, what happened was after that, we implemented a lot of the follow-ups because for me, I do a lot of events and I do workshops, even virtually and in person. And then you get all this contact information, but then it's the follow-up with those people, right? To book the appointments. And then we know you call them once, they don't respond, and then you gotta have multiple ways. You have to contact people many ways, many times in many different ways.
Yeah.
And doing that, so when I looked at and that day when you were doing the seminar, I was like, wow, so we can do a phone call, we can do a text, we can do an email, we can contact them in so many different
Lots of
ways. Right?
distribution channels. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was really, really exciting because I thought, okay, wait a second. So now I don't have to hire another assistant to do it.
Right.
Right. So that was one thing. Then I thought, okay, if it can automate everything, I was like, wow, so this potential is pretty awesome. The other thing that really was mind blowing for me was having an AI assistant, to answer a receptionist, sorry, that can answer my phone calls and can do all that. That was also very impressive because just like she can answer all the questions for me. Like say somebody wants to know about a specific type of investment account. Oh, what is a 401k or RSP? They can like she would be able to answer it. So that was also very cool because I knew it would save me a lot of time. So what I was looking really what got me was how much time can I save to really go and do what I need to do to generate income, right? And automate as much as I can.
Let's talk a little bit though about like some of the results. We'll get into receptionist in a minute 'cause I think the receptionist was an exciting story when it launched. You didn't have that in the beginning, but September, something happened. Something changed for you in terms of like the number of appointments you started having,
Yeah,
right?
the month of September, because we started to automate phone calls. So what happened is as soon as I have a survey card that people do that they fill out and they give me, what they're interested in and all that kind of stuff and what their next steps would be. Through that survey card, they did it right into my system, right into my Nico
CRM.
system, right, my CRM. And then from there, it triggered a workflow. And that workflow triggered a thank you. We received your survey, which was an email right away, a phone call within 24 hours, followed by another, email if they didn't book an appointment, and I had a workflow to help the follow up. And I ended up getting over 50 appointments that month, which was pretty crazy. And my income that month was very, very good, right? I profited a lot that month. So that was a very,
Are
very
you
good
willing
month.
to share like some of the numbers or is that
I mean, it was over $50,000 that month, right? In that 1 month of business I was able to generate. Yeah.
that's phenomenal, right? That's a lot higher than normal. So that's
Yes,
great.
it is. Yeah. Yeah.
So, and then I think it continued to see success for the next couple months, right? And then something happened, I guess, in around December timeframe where something dropped. What can you explain what happened there?
I mean, after that, we had unfortunately, we had somebody pass away, and it kind of really set me back. It set me back, and I didn't think it did, but it did because I wasn't able to focus. I wasn't able to do things the right way, and we unfortunately it was something that then I realized I wasn't automated enough to allow it to
I
do
know.
what I needed to happen, right?
Yeah,
Because if I was, things would have continued, definitely.
yeah.
But because I had not set up the proper automations for myself, because I was also confused, right? And I was also in a point where I was like, is it going to work? Is it not going to work? I was still doubtful. I am a control freak. I love to know what's happening, what's not happening. It was
Yeah.
very hard for me to give up even to my assistant, and as I started to do that. But then now to trust AI, which is something in a whole new world that I don't know,
And this
right?
is
I'm like,
typical of a lot of business like users, right? This is,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, because it's not something that we're common with. And then when I look at the system and then you're telling me to create a workflow, I don't know how to create a workflow. I don't know how to put an automation in and what is that? And I'm so scared to make a mistake. And
Yeah.
then I'm also not about just making a mistake, but I'm also scared that what if I do it wrong? What if it's not the right way or that kind of thing? And having that guidance for me was really, really, really important, and I know that's something you identified as well. We had a call about it. And yeah, and then I
I mean,
got
if we were to like analyze your system leading into that time, you had some outbound calls going that were
yeah,
automated based on having and hosting events, right? Your primary use case was driving a lot of follow-ups from events that you had, and then you had
correct.
the receptionist, which I think was just launching in December, and it took a little bit longer to get out because you were, unfortunately had to deal with what was happening in your personal life. So I think that is kind of the world of like what happens when we wait and kind of delay on things. It's kind of the
Yeah.
thing, and you're on the right trajectory to kind of use AI, but we're humans, right? Things happen in our lives. We get busy, and those other systems that you could have had put in didn't happen, right? And
Mm,
as we're like talking to business owners, what we're realizing ourselves, I'm realizing is like you've got all of the options available. It's like having a buffet. You go into a restaurant and you got all you can eat buffet, and you want to get to the last kind of dessert thing, but you've already spent too much time just on the salad, right? So you don't get all the way to the end.
yeah, yeah.
And then you know what, you're full and you leave and then you forget and so on. So I think maybe that analogy wasn't exactly the right one, but the point being, there were a lot of things and opportunities that we just didn't get to. And then when life hit, it actually didn't, you didn't see the benefits, is what I'm trying to say, right? So receptionist gets up. What changed? What did you do to kind of get back into the world of and refocus of automating your business and putting AI back into it? Because you had some really great early successes, and then this tragedy happened, and then what did you do differently? What was the spin off there?
So, I mean, I complained to you, and that helped. I complained, and we got another assistant to help us out, just strictly on Thinkrr, right? Helping us set up the automations, restructuring them, making sure the emails are right, the phone scripts, everything, like to satisfy my discomfort,
So, folks, you're
basically.
hearing this right now. Clients are going to complain. That's
Yeah.
part of the way it works.
No, definitely. And I mean, because if you don't complain, things don't get done. So you got to complain, right? So a little bit. But,
I see Dolly
and then,
shaking
I
her
mean,
head,
I
she's
was,
agreeing with you.
yeah, Dali's shaking her head because she knows. But Rabia was, thank you for bringing Rabia on. And I worked with her on a weekly basis where I was able to then go through everything with her. And I know it was a little bit too much for her, but I needed to go through like every detail to make sure it was fine. Plus, I didn't know how to do it. But then the great thing was, okay, so let me rewind here a little bit. I had an assistant who was a part of this from the beginning with myself and Mohan.
Right.
And
This is Ishita you're talking about, right?
Ishita, yeah.
Yeah.
And she was great, but guess what? She couldn't just focus on this and do the business. My business, what she needed to do was focus on my clients. So I couldn't just have my assistant give up all of that and do this. It wouldn't work. So that's when we started to see the gap just getting wider and wider.
Yeah.
And she is very knowledgeable about the system, but that gap was just crazy. And we never had time to get back to it. And then just wasn't
I think
being
there were
used.
competing priorities too, right? Like you were so used to giving her other things that she
Yeah,
became
absolutely.
overwhelmed, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. 100%. 100%. And that's where, yeah.
So just to kind of move forward, one of the key things that you did was recognize that. And then what did you do to address that?
So I did a couple of things. One was, of course, working with Rabia, right, and
Yeah.
being able to have that happen. And then I also trained another individual on Nico, 100% on
That's the
Nico.
GHL CRM that we're using, you're talking about,
Oh,
right?
sorry. Yes. Yeah.
That's
Sorry.
okay, though.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure everybody kind of understands
Yeah.
that this is the
Sorry. The
CRM.
CRM program, training on that, and the workflows for
Yeah.
Ava, how to incorporate it. So he designed, is doing like, so for example, he's been trained now also by Ishita and myself. And whenever there's any issues, also there's daily check-in calls that you guys have, which is great. That you can go in and
In
say,
the
hey, I
office
don't know how to
hours,
do
you're talking
this.
about the
The
office hours.
office
Yeah.
hours. Yeah, the
Yeah.
office hours. So that's also really fabulous. So what he did, so what he's been able to do, he's been able to create workflows for me. He's been able to, so I just had an event that I just did. He put them all in, created a workflow with specific phone calls that this is where you met Sujata, da 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 da, da. And now that has started to happen. And I'm already starting to see the traction. He's doing email outreaches today. This month is, Life Insurance Awareness Month. So we're just going massive on campaigning on that too. And just now I got 4 appointments booked and it just went out this morning. So, these are the things that has
Phenomenal.
really, like, I mean, it's amazing, honestly. So I'm just, I'm seeing now by having another person just designated to the system, right, is really helpful. And,
You
due to
have
Rabia coming in and fixing everything, now it's really smooth.
Yeah, I think a good point about fixing everything up is that you were one of the early adopters, right? So you kind of had things that were outdated. So we needed to kind of bring you current. I think that was a big part of it. And then, but the real secret sauce, it is really when you had somebody that could dedicate and work on this. Now, this individual is also helping not just you, but your whole team, right? Because you have your whole team using now AI
Yep,
and the CRM, right? So
that's right.
you've like basically injected this into all of your systems, which is
Yep.
phenomenal. Talk to me a little bit about what that dynamic looks like. What is this individual doing for you that has really been a great investment with the AI, right? Because one of the things you want to do is like you want to can you're talking about like taking work away from your existing team, but I think you've now actually tripled or quadrupled the impact by having just this one individual on a part-time
Yeah.
basis. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, he's helped out Mary and he's helped out Sarah on here. And, just with that, what he's been able to do is, first of all, just get people organized with their contacts. Most people don't have their clients all in one area. So that's on the CRM part. But then the other part was that he really helped out with the automation on emails, the
Yeah.
automation on phone calls and texting,
Yeah.
right? Those are some of the things that we were not utilizing from the system, right? Because see, my brain was wired in such a way that I thought a CRM program is only a database of my clients
Yeah.
and a storage place and where I can go and get resources from it and of course birthdays and all that kind of stuff. But it was very manual labor,
Yeah.
right? So in terms of like now, the way my Nico's set up, hey, every birthday they're getting a text message, not an email. They're getting a text message, and now I'm getting messages back saying, wow, thank you for remembering. And the messages are quite nice, but we automated it. Now my client reviews, we put the date in there, automated, they get appointment, they get a phone call, they get a reminder, let's book our review time. So
This is
things
really
like that are
important. Yeah,
happening.
yeah, this is a really important automation that you put in, right? Because
I did. Yeah, yeah.
you don't have to even think about when the review date is. You meet with your clients, what, like on an annual basis or something like
On an
that?
annual basis. Yeah,
It's like
yeah,
actually a compliant rule, right, to meet with them. So you're
yeah.
using that review date to be your trigger to make an
Correct.
outbound call
That's
to
right.
schedule automatically that review meeting. It's basically what I like.
That's right.
That's the promise.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yep. That's right. Exactly. So he really helped to organize them, right? Structure them. And also now, I mean, they're leveraging everything in the system without worrying about, in their files are all there. I mean, it's just amazing. He's done a lot of work for everybody. So I encourage everyone, train one person just for that. Let them just do that. Because it will help a lot. It definitely will help. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's been a great thing. So one of the things that we talked about at the kind of the top of the hour and it was kind of the headline was you've achieved 100% show rate to your meetings, right? And Can you talk a little? So, what changed to get you to get those kind of results?
So first thing was I fixed my workflow, how I'm contacting people, right,
Okay.
for the appointments.
What
Because
do
I
you
used
mean?
to use something called Calendly. Maybe some
Okay.
people are aware with that. And Calendly, would send, if you have the paid version, right, it would allow you to do certain things, but it wouldn't make phone calls for me, right? It would just be like an email out confirming and sending a link. So what happened is I changed the workflow in such a way that as soon as somebody was, I think the biggest thing was adding a phone call,
Okay.
right? Adding a phone call to remind people about the appointment because I had the 10-minute text before the appointment, even an email, but that phone call was the trigger. So when we fixed the workflow, then anybody that booked an appointment through my Nico, through my calendar, sorry, that's linked with the CRM database and the Ava platform, immediately they went in the workflow. Immediately they got a message that the appointment has been booked. And so it was email, text, and phone call.
Got it.
But I'll tell you, I had email and text because I wasn't comfortable on the phone call. I wasn't using it. And again, you yourself scolded me on that one. And that was when I added in the phone calls. And I'll tell you, as soon as I added those phone calls, nobody never showed up.
So these phone calls are driven by AI, and what we have, I think, implemented that's really important to kind of touch upon is like this phone call is an agent, somebody who understands the call, can make a request and say, "Hey, are you still good to meet with Sujata?"
Yeah.
And everything, and they say, "You know what? I can't meet today. Something came up." It reschedules them based on your availability for the next when it works for them, right? So that's like another component of why your show rate is really high because you're not seeing meetings anymore where people don't show up, right? And also if they say, you know what, I'm not interested anymore, that's also time you're saving because now they can also cancel that. So that intelligence that you have now on your call. It's not just a phone call, but it's a call that can basically act like your receptionist or your secretary or your, kind of teammate that confirms the call and reschedules them if need. And I think that aspect of that phone call is really important. It's not just like, hey, calling blindly. It's a reminder because we have those systems for a while. It's a phenomenal call. Wendy's actually asking a question like, when does the system call the clients?
No, she's asking, let me see here. She said, when the system calls a client, what number do they see? So I have a special number for my receptionist, and I emailed all my clients in advance, and I actually do that on a regular basis to let them know that this is the phone number that'll be contacting you. It's my AI assistant, letting them know in advance. Because a lot of people, when they start to hear automation, guys, there's a lot of scams going on. So people are scared,
Yeah.
right? People are very fearful of, just automation. So you have to let people know in advance because if you don't, that could be a disaster. They won't pick it up, right? They won't pick it up. So yeah, Wendy. So I let people know in advance about that. Yeah.
Yeah, you send out multiple kind of communications about here's a number, I've adopted
Yeah.
AI is kind of, I think that
Yes.
was a very important part of your strategy
Yeah.
you implemented. And now I think you even asked people to add the number to their
I
phone
did. I
contact,
did,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And also some people like they don't like AI, right? They're still like living in a different
We've had
world,
a few people call like that.
right? And what they did, they called me and they said, Sujata, this AI thing was calling me and we didn't know if it was from you. Is it from you? And I said, yes, it was. And they said, but we would rather hear your voice. I said, perfect. Hey, it served its purpose. You called me. Let's schedule a meeting. And we were able to schedule a meeting, right? So either way, it still worked in my benefit, right? Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it prompted them to contact you to confirm things. But I think now that comfort has come. That was like early days when you had a lot of that, but that comfort is now coming in. Even
Yes.
like you've almost trained your clients and your network to know that you're progressive and that you're doing things. And by letting them know that this is how you're working, it's actually been a strength of your system because it's performing even better, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So let's just, we've got a few more minutes here, then we can open up to questions. Like, what is the future look for you? Like now you're at this point, what are you thinking going forward? What would be the next things that you'd like to do with, whether it's voice AI, automations, where do you want to, like, where's that one point where you see still opportunity to optimize and even do more?
Well, I mean, the first thing I see is utilizing my AI assistant to schedule my appointments, right? In the sense that I could be driving and somebody reaches out to me and says, "Hey, Sajad, I want an appointment Friday at 2 p.m." Well, I could just say, hey, Ava, can you schedule that on my calendar?" Right? Just making a phone call and it'll be on my calendar. So
Yeah.
I don't have to like
Like a
text and
virtual
drive.
assistant. Yeah.
Yeah, right. I don't got to text and
Talked a
drive.
lot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, we did, right? And then the other thing I really see a lot happening is what I've done is I fed into my AI like all the information. I've even downloaded one of the books, like Saving Your Future book that we use for financial education, into the I guess I don't know what you guys call it, into the bot. Is that I didn't know what a bot was, guys. I apparently that's AI stuff, but some bot, and then we uploaded the book there, so it's in her memory or whatever. I don't know how to. I know I'm
So basically,
butchering
we're training the AI and an
training the
AI
AI. Okay,
bot or an AI agent, as it's called.
yeah,
Yes, it's okay. But this is real. Like
yeah.
when you're, a non-technical audience doesn't understand this word. So I'm really happy that you just said you didn't know what a
No,
bot
I
was.
didn't know any of this. Yeah, I did not. Yeah,
You're using the language of
yeah.
business people, which is great.
So having that assistant, what's great is I actually tested it out, and I had a client call in and they wanted to ask about a specific type of an investment account in Canada, which is called FHSA, which is for first time buying, like people buying a house to save. So they called in, they asked the question, and she explained it like perfectly. It was amazing. And then they said, okay, if you'd like to schedule more to know more about, this product or to set it up for yourself, can we schedule a meeting with Sujata for you? And they booked the appointment. So it was so amazing. So I see in the future for me using a lot more of that AI reception, using it. It's answering our phone calls. So actually the phone calls are not going now to Ishita anymore, which is my staff. They're going straight to that AI receptionist, and they're asking, okay, would you like an appointment? And if they say they want to speak to me, it transfers the call to me.
Yes.
Right. So, that part of it is really helping. And now my conversations with my staff is what can we do, or what do we actually need to do, and what can we automate? Because whatever can be automated should be automated. I don't want you guys to use your time to be doing that. So, for example, like things like, scheduling client reviews or booking, appointments with prospects, right? Just setting up those databases to follow up with people on a regular basis. That should be there. The emails, automating the emails, having it all there. Like I have emails scheduled for the whole month because it's Life Insurance Awareness Month, right? Getting that out. Next month is another awareness month. So I'm going to focus on that, and we're going to constantly be doing that and adding value to people.
I think you're also using it like inside your team, right? So you have weekly meetings and you're using it for reminders as well for that,
Yep,
correct?
yep, I
Yeah.
am. Yeah. So
And
we
so,
have weekly training calls. We have weekly licensed agents also have trainings. So I actually use that as reminders because yeah, I use WhatsApp and I send things out, messages there. But some people don't look at their WhatsApp right away,
yeah,
right? So what I've been using now is using the AI to call my team, reminding them about the meeting,
yeah.
reminding them to about, let's say, if there's training happening or license agent product training, whatever it may be. I'm using it now for everything.
So I'm going to prompt you with one last question here. So you have a website,
I
um,
do.
and you're using your website kind of underutilized right now, right? As a market. And I know a big part of your strategy moving forward is to start to create more traffic to your website.
Yep.
And you have put actually your receptionist as a web agent on your website. Can you share a little bit about that and how that kind of factors into your, future plans?
I mean, just having that there is allows people to have a conversation. And also to see that I'm advancing with technology, right? I'm not going to be one of those outdated agents left behind, not knowing what to do,
Yeah.
right? So using that on my website, it's like a little bot that people can just click on and ask a question, right?
Yeah.
And have an actual conversation.
And
Yeah.
book meetings with you, right?
And of course, yeah, of course, and book meetings, yes, definitely, yeah. So for me, I see that I need promoting that a lot more, being able to use directing people to the website, because a lot of the times people just want to have a simple question,
Yeah.
and then converting that question over into an appointment. And okay, my biggest thing about AI, guys, is she is not emotional, or he, depending on the voice. She
Yeah.
doesn't take rejection personally, right? She can handle the no's. I had one client, one appointment that we were trying to schedule from an event, and this lady was really trying not. She was trying to dodge the appointment, right? She was like, "No, no, I don't have time. I don't have time." And then I actually heard the conversation because everything is transcribed and recorded and saved, which is amazing. So then I saw there, she was like, no, no, no. And then she goes, and then the AI system was like, nope, sorry. Well, could you just have 15 minutes even for a quick call with Sujata? And she just kept being persistent and she got the appointment. The lady showed up on the appointment and I started laughing. And I said to her, I go, you tried everything in your power not to book this appointment, didn't you? She goes, yeah. She goes, that is one persistent system. And even, I mean, I've had this conversation with you, right? I always am worried about bothering people.
Yeah.
But you said something to me that was really powerful. You said, Sajada, we live in a world where everybody's busy.
Yeah.
Even though I'm sitting on this computer, but my phone might be going off and I have other things. I have an email popping up behind the scene, and I'm constantly having 100 things going on at the same time. And everybody's in the same place. So having that reminder, or quote unquote bothering people with constant emails, text, or phone calls is actually the way that they're going to show up.
Well, it's actually also recognizing that we are all busy.
Yeah,
And I know that when I was talking to somebody else as well, they said to me, I'm so grateful that the system actually did call me multiple times or reached out to me multiple times because it gave me the ability to, finally pick it up. I felt like I was happy when I got the call because I actually wanted to talk to you and meet with you, right? So like this is, the reality is that people aren't, always dodging you. They're just busy and they
yeah,
need that kind of and if you use human capital to do that all the time and didn't use AI and didn't use automations, that's a lot of time spent just on trying to do outreach and schedule and get prospects into the door. And I think one of the things that this has done, and we should probably kind of open up questions after this, is like you have unleashed a lot more of your time now, right? That
yep.
you can have more meaningful conversations, meet more people, rather than spend the time actually trying to outreach and schedule them in. And
Mhm.
I think that's a really key takeaway.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah, phenomenal. So, like, you guys have kind of heard us banter for a little while. Really would love to open up the floor. If there's questions that people have and want to ask, otherwise we can continue talking about things. But with the last 15 minutes here or so, are there questions about either to myself or to Sujata about what she's seeing, what she's doing, and specifics about what we talked about? You just like raise your hand.
Hi, I have a question.
Hi, Wendy.
Hey. Um, is there a way that you can create templates on this system?
Yeah, no, definitely. You can create templates on there that you can just like I have to remember what it's called though. It has a special name.
The scenario, you mean?
A snippet. Yes, you create a snippet. And then what you can do is actually like, so what I've done, Wendy, is for my clients, like with the specific, let's say they bought a insurance policy or they opened up a investment account. I've created snippets or templates where they can click on. I just go into it and it will automatically send them an email, right? That will have their account number on it, how to log in, all the instructions. So they just have to do that. So we send that out. You can have those templates on there and you can
It's so
create them.
interesting. So you took the answer and kind of answered it from an email perspective. There's also templated voice calls that you can make as well, right? So the appointment reminder is a template that
That's
you
right. Yeah.
for you're talking about your voice calls that you do for the event as well,
Mhm.
where you're just changing like which event you actually were at, and then you've got it templated and you can reuse that over and over and
Correct.
over
Yes.
again. So you're
That's
not
right.
rebuilding, redoing, you're just using what systems you have with making small modifications to, the relevant kind of script that you need to use.
That's correct. Yeah.
That's really cool. A good question, Wendy. Did that answer what you were looking for, or did we miss something?
Um, That was like extra, but
Okay.
I guess what I was asking was like for social media platforms too. So let's say I want to create a poster. Does it have like a way for me to create that?
Oh, so you're looking
Like,
for more like a social media campaign, something to run your campaigns. So there's this
yeah.
that we recommend to use, and we're highly integrated in from the Voice AI platform, which is called Go High Level. We branded it, called it Nico, and inside there, there's something called a social planner. And the social planner allows you to upload your contents and schedule them across multiple social media platforms. I think Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, all of those are, the popular platforms are supported. Uh, what you're talking about actually like creating something, I would look at something like a Canva to create. It's a fantastic tool and it allows you to create, it has a lot of social media templates for different platforms. Cool.
Great. Yeah, you answered my question. Thank you.
Okay, good. The extra and more. So is the large size, and then what do you call when you go to McDonald's, you get like something that's larger than
Super
life?
size, super
Super size,
size.
that's what it's called. Yeah. Super size me.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I see Liz has got a question. Hey, Liz.
Hi, good good afternoon, everyone here at Thinker and those who are attending. Um, Maybe a comment first. I'd like to say thank you for Mohan and your company for introducing AI to me. I myself am a believer of what AI can do, and hence I also use the tool. I don't have a full-time assistant, and so AI served as my my real assistant, calling people. When I get my survey cards, I enter them into AI, and AI or Ava calls them and books an appointment for me. That's been very effective, as well as booking a policy review. It has helped me a lot in of course, I started learning how. It's very, very interesting, but I see a huge potential, and that's why I'm still here. I'm waiting for my phone number to to show my name, not the number. But like Sujata, what I did there was to send a message in advance to my to people I want Ava to call, telling them that I expect a call from this number because this is my AI assistant.
Yeah.
So so far that worked, but well, waiting for the improvements to come.
Yeah, actually, we can take care of that through the third party. So we use Twilio numbers. And what you can do is you can actually register your business, a number with your business. This is a separate process, separate from Thinker, that we can do. We can show you how to do that. We've got great documentation on that. And even the team can help you on the office hours how to go about doing that. And people are putting like their business name on to the phone number and then they hook that up to the system. That's happening. What we are adding, which is super exciting, is let's say you have an existing phone number. Let's say you have your mobile phone number and you want to use that for the outbound calls. We are starting to do that as well. We're adding that into the system. So that means that you don't have to even go.
Yay.
Right. I know you've been asking for that for a while.
Yay!
Yeah, that's going to be pretty powerful because again, it is about that pickup rate, right? It's a really big focus for us is like how do we help everybody get better pickup rate? And we're hyper focused on that in the next month. So you're gonna see a lot of improvements, Liz. Do you have any questions or comments on anything that Sujata shared here today or that we talked about?
She's
Well,
already mastered it. Okay. She's doing amazing with it. Yeah.
I went through the same process, so
Yeah.
her experience was my experience too,
Yeah.
somehow, with a little difference because
Yeah.
I came from information technology, so I saw the workflows and easy for me to learn it.
It's right up your wheelhouse. Yeah. Awesome. Amazing.
Yeah, she was better than me, definitely.
Not that aspect.
Cool. Well, let's see if there's any more questions. Otherwise, we can keep on talking here. Is there any more questions from the room? Anything that you'd like to talk about that wasn't covered? We haven't heard Dolly say anything, which is unusual. Dolly, do you have anything you want to add or questions you have?
No, I mean, I think it's great. It's just, I think for me, it's really finding someone who can actually help you set up. Like Sujata is a pro. She got the who can help her set up and put everything in perspective. I mean, I love it. I love the idea. I love everything. It's just like she talked about, and you mentioned it. Time to put it together, and who knows how to actually deal with it and how they can assist you and help you with it.
So you're in
That's
that
my
part of the
biggest.
story where Sujata was about December last year, where she was like, I need somebody to help me to put it together.
Yeah,
And
if she's willing to share her person with me, we're gonna make it work.
there you
I
go.
mean, I need help.
Absolutely, Dolly. You can have everything I have.
Be careful what you just said, but anyways.
I agree.
But no, I mean I think that's really the biggest thing the way I look at it. I think everything is the idea. The you guys have a fantastic communication and system and everything is in place. I think that's my biggest
Yeah,
biggest challenge to actually make this work.
amazing. Okay. Cool. Thank you, Dolly, for sharing that with us. Is there anybody else who'd like to ask a question or has any comments or wants to make, comment on anything? Wally, how did you find this meeting? Was it informative?
Hey, Mohan. Yes, I found it very informative. I really like the customer testimonies because it really kind of helps bring it to life, I guess. When you're dealing with these things as a solopreneur, when you're putting on these things as a solopreneur, sometimes you're all by yourself and really seeing these testimonies. I would love to see more of this. I really would. I'd
Yeah.
like to see more customer, results, so to speak. We're just getting started with a couple of them, and so far it looks really, really good. I'm really having fun with this technology, and I really thank you and your team for what you guys have put together. So
Awesome. Thanks, Wally. Yeah, I'm
yeah,
glad that it was helpful. I think we'll do more and more of these types of customer spotlights, client spotlights, and trying to niche into specific ways that businesses are working, so that people can kind of get that um, context. Whether you're in this to resell it or whether you're an actual business that wants to use it, both perspectives are important. And we spend so much time, I know, on Thursday nights talking about how strategies around reselling. This is really thinking about how do people actually use it and what they're doing. I think that's a big part of you know, empathy that can be created and then insights on how we can take this and further expand it within the organizations. And every business, every niche is going to have very, very different, very unique types of use cases that they're going to have to solve for. So I think that's part of the responsibility is building those use cases and making it simple. And that's what, kind of my mission is here at Thinkrr is to really make sure we make that. And, talk to y'all later. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you
Sujata.
very much.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.